What if I told you that 100 people were given the same opportunities, the same information, the same resources, and even the same instructions as you, and yet not one of them could produce the same result? Not because they weren't smart, not because they didn't work hard, but because they weren't you. The world often convinces us that we are replaceable, ordinary, and easy to duplicate. But the truth is far more powerful: your perspective, your experiences, your resilience, and your way of seeing the world can never be copied. Today, you're about to discover why your uniqueness is your greatest strength, and why the moment you fully embrace it, everything changes. Most people spend their lives believing that success belongs to those who follow the crowd. They look around, see what everyone else is doing, and assume that the safest path is to think the same way, act the same way, and chase the same goals. But history tells a different story. Every major breakthrough, every remarkable achievement, and every extraordinary life began with someone who saw something that others failed to notice. The reason is simple: your mind is unique. It has been shaped by experiences, lessons, victories, failures, challenges, and moments that nobody else has lived through exactly as you have. Because of that, you possess a perspective that cannot be copied. Think about it. Two people can stand in the same room, hear the same conversation, and walk away with completely different interpretations. Two people can face the same obstacle. Each one sees a dead end while the other sees an opportunity. The difference is not the situation itself. The difference is the way they think about it. Your perspective acts like a lens through which you view the world. It determines what you notice, what you ignore, and what possibilities you believe are available to you. Many people underestimate the value of their own ideas because they assume that if an idea is truly important, everyone would already see it. But that is rarely how success works. Opportunities often hide where most people are not looking. They appear in problems others avoid, in challenges others complain about, and in situations that seem ordinary on the surface. The people who achieve remarkable things are often those who develop the ability to recognize value where others see nothing at all. One of the biggest mistakes people make is doubting themselves simply because their thinking is different from the majority. I assume that being different means being wrong. In reality, some of the greatest achievements in human history came from people who refused to think exactly like everyone else. If they had waited for approval from the crowd, they would never have taken action. They trusted what they saw, even when nobody else understood it at first. This does not mean every idea you have will succeed. It does not mean every opinion you hold will be correct. What it means is that your ability to think independently, is one of your greatest assets. Every time you challenge assumptions, ask questions, or explore possibilities that others ignore, you strengthen that ability. You train yourself to look beyond limitations and discover opportunities that less observant people miss. The world does not reward people merely for repeating what has already been said. It rewards those who bring something new, something valuable, and something authentic. That value begins with your perspective. The experiences that shaped you have given you a way of seeing the world that nobody else possesses. There are insights you can offer that others cannot. There are solutions you can discover that others will overlook. There are opportunities waiting for someone with your exact mindset to recognize them. So stop assuming that your thoughts are insignificant. Stop dismissing your instincts simply because they differ from the crowd. Sometimes the very thing that makes you feel different is the thing that gives you an advantage. Your mind sees things others miss, and when you learn to trust that gift, you begin to unlock possibilities that have been there all along, waiting for someone like you to notice them. There are people who have lived comfortable lives, avoided major setbacks, and never faced significant adversity. Then there are people like you, people who have been tested by challenges, disappointments, losses, rejection, and moments that forced them to question everything. At first, those experiences may have felt unfair. You may have wondered why life seemed harder for you than for others. You may have wished for an easier path, a smoother journey, or fewer obstacles standing in your way. But what you may not realize is that the struggles you survived have given you something incredibly valuable, a strength that cannot be taught, purchased, borrowed, or copied. Every challenge leaves behind a lesson. Every setback teaches something about patience, resilience, courage, or perseverance. While success can boost confidence, it is often hardship that builds character. When everything is going well, people rarely discover what they are truly capable of. It is only when circumstances become difficult that hidden strengths begin to emerge. The moments that seem designed to break you often become the moments that reveal who you really are. Think about the difficult seasons of your life. At the time, they probably felt overwhelming. You may have faced rejection that made you doubt yourself. You may have experienced failures that made you question your abilities. You may have encountered people who underestimated you, criticized you, or walked away when you needed support. Yet despite all of that, you are still here. You continued moving forward. You found a way to survive, adapt, and grow. That alone proves that you possess a level of strength many people never develop. The truth is that pain changes people. It can make someone bitter, or it can make someone wiser. It can create or it can create courage. The difference lies in what lessons are taken from the experience. Every struggle contains valuable knowledge. It teaches you what truly matters. It teaches you who can be trusted. It teaches you how to stand on your own when necessary. Most importantly, it teaches you that you are capable of handling more than you once believed. Many people look at successful individuals and admire the final result without understanding the journey behind it. They see confidence but not the insecurity that had to be overcome. They see achievement but not the countless failures that came first. They see strength but not the battles that created it. The strongest people are rarely those who had an easy life. They are usually the ones who endured difficulties and refused to let those difficulties define them. What makes your struggles valuable is not the pain itself. It is the transformation that occurred because of it. Every challenge forced you to grow in ways that comfort never could. Every obstacle developed qualities that would have remained dormant if life had always been easy. The patience you have, the wisdom you carry, the resilience you demonstrate, and the perspective you possess were all shaped through experiences that demanded growth. No one can duplicate that process. People can imitate your habits, copy your strategies, and follow your advice. But they cannot recreate the exact experiences that shaped your mindset. They cannot borrow the lessons you learned through hardship. They cannot instantly gain the resilience you developed through perseverance. That strength belongs to you because you earned it through every difficult moment you refused to surrender to. So instead of viewing your past struggles as evidence of weakness, start seeing them as proof of your capability. The challenges that once seemed like obstacles were actually preparing you for greater things. I built a foundation of strength that cannot be taken away. And one day, you may discover that the very experiences you wished had never happened became the reason you were able to achieve things others thought were impossible. One of the biggest traps people fall into is believing that life is a competition against everyone around them. From an early age, many are taught to compare. Compare your grades to someone else's. Compare your income, your appearance, your achievements, your lifestyle, and even your happiness. The world constantly encourages people to measure their worth by looking at what others have accomplished. But the problem with comparison is that it shifts your focus away from your own growth and places it on someone else's journey. When you spend your life competing with others, you give away your power. Your confidence becomes dependent on how well you are doing compared to someone else. If someone succeeds, you feel behind. If someone reaches a milestone before you question your own progress. If someone receives recognition, you start doubting your value. This cycle never ends because there will always be someone who appears to be ahead in some area of life. No matter how much you achieve, comparison will continue moving the finish line farther away. The truth is that you were never meant to become someone else. You were never designed to walk the exact same path as another person. Every individual begins life with different circumstances, different opportunities, different challenges, and different strengths. Comparing your journey to someone else's is like comparing two completely different stories and expecting them to have identical chapters. It simply doesn't work. Real growth begins when you stop asking, "How do I beat everyone else?" and start asking, "How do I become the best version of myself?" That question changes everything. It redirects your energy away from external competition and toward personal development. Instead of wasting time worrying about what others are doing, you begin focusing on what you can improve. You become more interested in your own progress than in someone else's results. The most fulfilled people are rarely obsessed with defeating others. They are focused on mastering themselves. They work on becoming stronger than they were yesterday. They challenge their own limits. They measure success by growth rather than comparison. Every day becomes an opportunity to improve, learn, and evolve rather than a contest to prove superiority. There is also a freedom that comes when you stop competing with everyone around you. You no longer feel threatened by another person's success. Instead, you can appreciate it without feeling diminished by it. You understand that someone else's achievement does not reduce your potential. There is enough opportunity, success, and growth available for everyone. Another person's victory does not mean your defeat. Many people spend years trying to fit into expectations that were never meant for them. They chase goals they don't truly woo. Because society tells them those goals represent success. They pursue paths that impress others but leave them feeling empty. Becoming who you are meant to be requires the courage to define success on your own terms. It means understanding what matters to you, what fulfills you, and what kind of life aligns with your values. The greatest competition you will ever face is not with another person. It is with the version of yourself that wants to stay comfortable, avoid risk, and settle for less than your potential. That is the challenge worth accepting. Each day, strive to become a little wiser, a little stronger, a little more disciplined, and a little more confident than you were before. Because at the end of your life, your success will not be measured by how many people you outperformed. It will be measured by whether you had the courage to become the person you were capable of becoming. The goal was never to win against others. The goal was always to become more of yourself. And when you focus on that mission, you discover a level of fulfillment that competition can never provide. In a world where so many people are trying to fit in, one of the most powerful things you can do is be yourself. That sounds simple, but in reality, it is one of the hardest challenges many people face. From a young age, we are influenced by expectations from family, friends, society, and social media. We are shown examples of who we should be, how we should act, what success should look like, and even how we should think. Over time, many people begin shaping their lives around approval rather than authenticity. They become experts at meeting expectations but strangers to themselves. A problem with pretending to be someone you are not is that it creates a constant internal battle, no matter how convincing the performance may be. Deep down you know when you are hiding parts of yourself. You know when you are saying what others want to hear instead of what you truly believe. When you are chasing goals that impress people instead of goals that inspire you. Living this way can bring temporary acceptance. It rarely brings lasting fulfillment. Authenticity is powerful because it removes that burden. When you embrace who you truly are, you stop wasting energy trying to maintain an image. You no longer feel the need to constantly prove yourself. Instead, your actions begin to align with your values, your beliefs, and your purpose. There is a confidence that comes from knowing you are living honestly. It is not loud, arrogant, or attention-seeking. It is quiet, steady, and unshakable because it comes from self-acceptance rather than external validation. People often think that success comes from perfection. They believe they must eliminate every flaw, hide every weakness, and present a flawless image to the world. But when you look closely at the people who truly inspire others, you will notice something different. They are not admired because they are perfect. They are admired because they are genuine. People connect with honesty. They connect with real stories, real struggles, and real emotions. Perfection may impress people for a moment, but authenticity builds trust that lasts. A world rewards authenticity because authenticity creates connection. Whether in leadership, business, relationships, or personal growth, people are naturally drawn to those who are comfortable being themselves. They can sense when someone is genuine. They can feel the difference between confidence that comes from self-awareness and confidence that is merely a performance. Authentic people create an environment where others feel safe to be themselves as well. There will always be pressure to conform. There will always be voices telling you to think a certain way, act a certain way, or become a certain kind of person. But every time you abandon your authentic self to gain approval, you sacrifice a piece of your individuality. The qualities that make you different are often the very qualities that make you valuable. Your perspective, your personality, your experiences, and your unique way of seeing the world are not obstacles to success, they are the foundation of it. When you stop trying to be a copy of someone else, you give yourself permission to discover your true strengths. You become more creative because you are no longer limited by imitation. You become more confident because your identity is no longer dependent on approval. You become more resilient because criticism no longer threatens who you are. Most importantly, you begin building a life that reflects your true values rather than someone else's expectations. The people who leave the greatest impact on the world are rarely those who fit perfectly into every mold. They are the ones who had the courage to embrace their individuality when it would have been easier to conform. You fully embrace who you are. You unlock a level of influence, confidence, and fulfillment that no amount of pretending could ever provide.